This morning, it's Shawn Ford. He is the superintendent of the Purchase Line School District. Our conversation brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Shawn, good morning.
Good morning, Todd. How are you?
Wonderful, and it's good to have you on the air with us here today as we talk school. That is, that's pretty well at the top of the mind of everybody today, because it doesn't matter who you are affected in some way by what's going on in our area schools, and that's the case, of course, in your community, the Purchase Line School District. Getting set for the opening of school. Tell me about the planning process and how that is going and what we're looking at Purchase Line.
Okay, Todd. Well, we're starting school on September 8th. Tuesday, September 8th will be our first day for students. We are running a series of, starting next week, of orientation sessions where we're bringing one grade in at a time at both schools, and we're gonna share our new procedures, our new protocols. We're going to be passing out Chromebooks to all the students, going over our new learning platform, our remote learning platform. We've partnered with Waterfront Learning out of Pittsburgh to provide that remote learning platform. So we're going to spend those orientation sessions kind of training both our students and getting parents familiar with that to try to help in that process. As far as our actual reopening, what we look like, Todd, we are starting in a hybrid model, and our hybrid model, 4th through 12th grade students will be attending 2 days a week, and our pre-K through 3rd grade will be 4 days a week, along with some other students in need of supportive services and some other special populations of students due to, whether it be connectivity issues, whether it be our ICTC students, stuff like that. So that's what our process is, and we're kind of working through the details of that. And it seems like every day we get some new guidance and new things that we have to work through and tweak our plan in light of new guidance, new recommendation, new mandates.
I'm sure the parents will get this information without you having had to say it here, but tell me about busing the students. That has been a difficult problem for school districts to come up with this, too.
Did you say busing, Todd?
Yes.
Busing. What we're doing with our busing is, naturally every student will have to have a mask on the bus. We have two students to a seat. We will fill the bus from back to front. We will empty our buses from front to back, and we have we'll have assigned seats on the bus, and that will help if we get into a situation where we have a COVID case. The contract tracing will be easier on that situation. So that's a general view on the busing. The cleaning standards on the bus are going to be clean both between runs and at the end of the day. We do double runs here. We do our high school run, then we do our elementary run, and we're utilizing the hydrostatic sprayers to disinfect those buses. So that's the general overview of our busing.
One of the items that has concerned a lot of school districts, and I'm sure yours as well, is this costs a lot of money. Increased PPE for your buildings and for your staff members, all of the different measures that have to be taken. Things like, you mentioned Chromebooks. The technology budgets for our school districts have to have gone up, and in some cases very, very dramatically. And just the procurement of them, we're hearing about shortages of laptop computers, of Chromebooks, of the various different technologies. What has been Purchase Line's experience?
We were fortunate, and I'll give credit to my team. We actually were able to procure enough devices for every student pre-K through 12. And so we actually have those devices in hand. We're getting those set up now, and we'll be able to pass those out at orientation. We had to change directions a few times. We went out to bid. We did not get what we needed, and but we had our technology, CJAWS. We work with CJAWS, and my business manager went to great lengths, called many vendors, and we were able to procure those. So we're pretty, because I know some of the other districts have not been able to do that, and so we're pretty fortunate on that end.
Yeah, it really is. And of course, broadband is a big issue. And one of the things about last spring was you probably learned a lot about how to proceed in terms of making broadband available to folks and what to do for those who don't have a good, strong signal. Tell me about that.
Todd, that's still our number one issue. We're at about 25 to 30% of our families out there that still struggle with broadband. And I really appreciate what the commissioner's doing in Indiana County, and they're going to, we have different grants being procured out there. But unfortunately, a lot of that's just not going to be ready in time for the start of the year, possibly not even this year as a whole. So we're still having to make provisions for those students who are choosing to go remote, but yet don't have the connectivity. So we're still looking at putting some hot spots in different areas within the district, but that is by far still our biggest challenge. And it's in my opinion, we're weighing these health concerns with the ability to educate our students, and that's the number one. Trying to balance that out. But we still have plans in place. We're still going to utilize different materials to help those students. We're going to offer those students a multitude of services and supports that we just didn't have ready last spring that we do have in place and are ready now. But that's by far still our biggest challenge, Todd.
Yeah, and as we think about it, and I recall talking with another superintendent about this earlier in the summer, this is a situation that needs to be met right now, and you have to address it now. At the same time, you have to look forward in the long term. Okay, we have technology now. At some point, we're going to have to cycle it through, replace old technology with new technology, and that requires some foresight in budgeting, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We definitely have we've had some grants that have come out here, both through the federal government and the state government, where we were able to procure that. But we also have to, include that in our budgeting process, because I think we're doing between a 4 to 5 year refresh on those. As a grade level moves through after 4 years, we try to refresh those. But there's no doubt that's a big expense in our budget. But it's also the future of work, basically, as we're seeing that during this time, and the future of work is changing. So it's just going to have to be a priority in our budgets moving forward.
Yeah, the world is going to look a whole lot different a year from now, and certainly education is going to look a whole lot different as well. It looks different now than we could have ever conceived of a year ago. But a year ago, we were in the midst of football training camps and band camp and all of the other sports, so everybody's keeping an eye on the PIAA, on the Athletic Oversight Committee that's meeting in Harrisburg today. Right. Tell me about athletics at Purchase Line. What's it been like in terms of the summer, and what are you looking forward to?
At this point, we are running our fall sports, are still doing their individual workouts, and we've the PIAA did the 2-week period where they did not start officially, but kept the summer, and we've kept that. We believe in the governance of the PIAA for high school sports in the Commonwealth, and so we're eagerly awaiting. I think their executive council meets on Friday, I believe, and we'll see what the decision is. And at this point, our board and our administrative staff, we're adhering to the guidance of the PIAA, so that's kind of where we're at, and we'll just see how it falls. What they decide here moving forward. But we're prepared. We're prepared to start the season. I know our athletic director's been working hard, and so we just have to. We're eagerly awaiting those decisions too, Todd.
We're joined by Shawn Ford, Purchase Line Superintendent, with us this morning, talking about the start of the school year. We've heard all kinds of studies that have been conducted having to do with psychological impact on parents, on teachers, and certainly on students, which is our number one concern. Sports is one outlet, but there are many other outlets within a school student's academic life, extracurricular life, in terms of the way that you approach it psychologically and the help that is available to students to help them deal with the stresses of these new stresses of the COVID-19 era. Perhaps we can get into that a little bit. What's it been like?
Sure. We've had, right from day one, we set up, even clear back as far as March, the guidance department, and we actually last year had the foresight, and it proved to be really good foresight. We brought a social worker on. We contracted with the IU, and so that social worker came on. We also use CAP counselors through a partnership with the graduate school at IUP. And so we started that, even the virtual supports, even last spring, where we still reached out to students and really helped them through. And we have that set up even to a greater degree this fall. So in addition to having the academic supports we want to meet students where the learning loss took place, we also have our mental health supports. We're ready through our SAP team. Through this mental health supports, we have a couple of different things in place that we're ready for students from that social emotional perspective. We've actually we're going to have a focus on social emotional in every classroom, and so that's kind of been our approach to it. But I think I like to say this. We need to extend grace to our students, both where they've been and where they need to go, and there's going to be a transition back for our students, and we just need to be cognizant. But not only our students, but also our staff. Mm-hmm. This is I'm a big believer in the work of Brene Brown, and she talks about leaning into our fears and leaning into our vulnerabilities, and so preparing our staff for what's to come and the unknown. Sometimes the unknown is scarier than the known, and so that's kind of how we've been preparing, Todd. So many issues
that we probably never would have conceived of 6 months ago, certainly not a year ago, but they are all issues that need to be addressed. You're working on them at Purchase Line, as every other school district is. Yep. In terms of confidence that you're where you need to be with school starting in a couple of weeks, pretty confident that you've met what needs to be met as well as can be?
We are confident in our plan. We are also understanding through this, probably one of the things we've learned is we have to be flexible, and we have to have an ability to pivot quickly. And so that, to me, is part of the planning, is we're confident in what we're doing, but we're also understand the need to be flexible, the ability to pivot quickly, and I think that's as important in the planning process as the actual plan itself. And so, no, we are very confident. People have worked hard. My administrative team, the teachers are working hard in training. They're actually in training right now, learning all the new remote systems. Our support staff has just done a wonderful job with the buildings. We've gone through training from cleaning standards to what products we're utilizing. So, no, we're confident in our plan, Todd, for sure.
Shawn Ford, Superintendent, Purchase Line School District. Thanks for spending some time with us today.
Absolutely, I enjoy it, and we're gonna keep moving forward, and deal with the unknowns that we just don't know about, Todd. And we're all in this together, and we're going to stay committed together. So that's where we're at.
Good approach, Shawn. Thanks. Have a great day.
Hey, Todd. Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye now. There is Shawn Ford, Purchase Line School District. Ford, Purchase Line School District. Ford.